1, go. Let's get this game underway and have this all nice and sorted out.
And to everyone tuning in, this is the final match of the PCS, the first ever PCS that we've been hosting between Nexus and Carbon EU. We've seen both teams come through that runner-up position to get to the finals, taking out two of what a lot of people consider the favorites for these tournaments of Synergy and Carbon. And it's going to be a great match.
It's going to be definitely good. So welcome to the finals, the first game of the finals of the PCS. We're finally here through all our hardships today. we finally got here. Introducing the teams, we have Team Nexus and Team Carbon EU. On Team Nexus, we are going to see It's Array on the Greystone. We're going to see Nerf Mundo bringing out the energized Decker. Oh, no, the Polar Decker for Nerf Mundo. And then Sergeant Floppy bringing that Grux out that he loves so much. Once again, Klinghoffer is on the Spec Ops Twin Blast. That's such a nice skin that they finally got for Twin Blast, getting his own little skin there. Hudsy rocking the Challenger gadget, and you may take this one away.
We got Blood Mordius on this crunch, Yo Mikey on the howitzer, Shaden on the support rampage, Murdoch being piloted by Undead Pilot, and Rustress on that Quang.
You like that, don't you? You like being piloted by the Undead Pilot.
Yeah.
We do see Blood Mordius rocking that crunch, so crunch in the jungle opposed to the off lane. And we see the Rampage support. That wonderful flex pick. So if they're able to get that Rampage to work effectively, what is he doing? What was that?
Shaden a bit overextended right there. Not expecting that 2v2, I suspect. Kind of threw them off as in that fight, and he was trying to get some vision, but I don't think it worked out in his favor. He wanted to drop that Scout Sword in preparation in case there's a gank, but
he dropped the Scout Sword all right. He dropped that Scout Sword.
This is going to be a bit of an issue for Undead Pilot. He's not going to be able to safely farm, especially with the lanes actually pushing against him. He's now forced to sit incredibly far away from the wave.
That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt him a little bit. Especially with the Rampage. Rampage needs to hit 5 to be really viable, and that's going to set them back just a little bit. They do throw the rock and does land on top of Nerf Mundo, but nothing really aside from that. A little bit of poke.
Yeah, the river buffs have spawned. Sergeant Floppy manages to grab the red buff, whereas Hudsy grabbing the other one. So they've got both these river buffs, which is actually really important. It gives them that mana regen back into the lane so they can go back in, keep using spells to farm, because they managed to take control of those river buffs.
And we have It's Array trying to pressure Rustress off the wave, and he's going to successfully win that trade, making Rustress pop his health potion at the time. Sergeant Floppy now sitting with the red buff on the outside of the map, runs right into Shadon. Once again, not going to land the smash and grab, so they're going to get away safely. A little bit of bleed damage brought out to the Rampage. He decides to drop a ward because now he knows there's a bit of a threat on that side of the map. Nerf Mundo is going to counter with his own ward as well. Sergeant Floppy now going into his green buff, finally clearing that one out now. That's a bit of a late clear, but got the job, you know.
I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to take the green straight away. You can take all the whites, still hit level 2. And look for a early gank while being fairly healthy, which I quite like as well. But in terms of builds, again, seeing the wards coming out on a few of the heroes, with Mikey grabbing that Sage ward on his first back, Shaden with that Scout's ward, and a couple of wards dotted around on Nexus here with just the Scout's ward on Nerf Mundo.
Alright, so the rock does get thrown out from Shadon once again, not going to land. Nerf Mundo follows up with his own little bit of a stun, and actually managed to hit Undead Pilot. Undead Pilot does take a little bit of poke as a result from that, and he's going to be able to farm under his turret, though. As far as first backs are concerned... Oh, we have Klinghoffer getting hit by the rock, and they're going to try and poke it out, but this could be Undead Pilot going down. Nerfmundo's going to secure the kill. It's a kill secure, not a kill steal in that case for sure, and they're going to be able to back off.
That rock, can he hit it?
Oh, Kobe Bryant over here managing to hit the rock from down the lane.
It's a shame it wasn't on that Nerfmundo right there, because he could have potentially got that kill. You can just see how much this is a pain for Undead Pilot right now. He's sitting on 14 creeps. Klinkhoff is sitting on 23. That early kill really punished him in terms of his creep score. And Klinkhoff is just taking that advantage right now. He's sitting at 8 points, whereas Undead's still on 7.
It's definitely going to hurt. For first buys, we're seeing some wards coming out. Those 6-point wards coming out on the map. As the minions are poking down that tower ever so slightly on both sides of the map. Bloodmortius still hasn't seen a lot of action. He's just been trying to farm. I guess you want to hit that 5 mark as fast as possible with that crunch.
Yeah, you want to be able to do the recrunch. I mean, the ganks early game aren't going to be that impactful unless you get it timed with another ability. I mean, ganking Hudzy would probably be the most logical option for Bloodmortius, because you can combo with the Howitzer mine from the floor to push him into a position where you can do a lot of your combo.
Yeah, and there now Bloodmortius does manage to land that recrunch, so let's hopefully see some nice robo-boxing action coming out on the map very shortly on that nice fancy gold-plated crunch skin. Sergeant Floppy coming in the left lane right now. We have Shadon trying to throw a rock, not going to land successfully, but Nerfmundo does manage to get the Decker stun out onto Undead Pilot, and Shadon throws the slow out, but it won't be enough for anyone to really follow up on that one. Crunch now looking to position themselves right by the Raptors to see what he can do to grab the river buff. Sergeant Floppy's right behind him. It is going to be a red buff, so this could be helpful for Sergeant Floppy, but he's going to dash out of there and just walk away. Gadget's going to throw out the sticky bomb to do what he can. Undead Pilot once again in a little bit of trouble. Klinghoffer picking up the kill onto the Murdoch. Gadget's Tesla Dome goes down with a sticky bomb. Have a lot of damage being put out. Sergeant Floppy picks up a kill on Bloodmortius. Howitzer's making it rain onto nothing as he tries to zone out the rest of the team, and that's going to be 2 down for Carbon as Nexus starts to show that they are indeed a force to be reckoned with.
This is the issue. You can see Blood on this crunch. He didn't get any time to do any sort of damage output, and he gets, at this early stages of the game, if he gets focused down, it's near impossible for him to do much. You can also see the fearsome of his 1v1 ability when he started fighting against Sergeant Floppy. He managed to quarter himself in a matter of 2 autos. But, again, was a bit too slow in doing that and got punished
very shortly after as a result. And with Carbon having some issues, having people go down, we have Nexus now pressuring the tier 1 in the left lane, which could spell a wee bit of trouble, and it does. One thing we didn't notice, it's the dual lane swap once again. We have the...
It's again, we spoke, I think, I believe it was
Mikey. We just spoke to him about it.
Yeah, and he thinks they're stronger in the 2v2, so they're really forcing that 2v2 fights because they want to do it, and it looks like it's been working for them. I mean, not working in this game.
It has been working this game for them so far. We definitely had Klinghoffer being able to flex, but it really has to do with Shadon's accidentally poor positioning. He went to drop a ward down to get that vision out, but he just walked right into the jungler, right by the other team, and now they're paying for it, more or less.
Yeah, he hasn't even hit level 5 right now, Undead, so they cannot take advantage of the global long arm of the law. Kind of forced under this tower. It's going to be a bit tricky for them in terms of how they're going to claw their way back. I'd like to see them try and get the Raptors since it is on their side of the field. But it's going to be a bit tricky.
Mid lane, we see smash and grab coming out from Sergeant Floppy, and then a Tesla Dome going down. This could be the Seek and Destroy to kill it. No, Yohan Mikey does manage to live. Bloodmortius running in now, trying to sweep out as much damage as he can with the recrunch on the punch. And that will be nothing to secure, although a very nice gank coming out of Sergeant Floppy. He's going to start rotating left lane now. Maybe he'll go over to the lane to secure the tower. Seems like that will be the case. Rustress just running away from the Greystone, going in on Hudzy. Now it's going to be a 3v1. Hudzy just in the wrong place at the right time, getting completely burned down. Blood Morty is now walking out. Yo, Mikey coming in to try and help with that kill in the soul lane right now. There's another big fight. There's the Decker ultimate going down. Nerf Mundo picks up a kill on Undead Pilot once again. Klinghoffer sticking to the tower. No one's really going to be able to contest him. If he applies any damage to them, it could be the end of the day for them. Sergeant Floppy now sticking near them to help out the Twin Blast and provide a little bit of CC. Shadon throws a rock and gets that 2-second stun down on top of the Grux. And they're going to back off now as it's no longer safe to pressure that turret, even though everyone's out of it.
It's an even trade, 1-for-1. But Klinghoffer, again, getting a lot of the CXP funnel into him right now. He's sitting on that comfortable 16 points, 4 ahead. 3 to 4 ahead, because Russians and Mikey are sitting on 13 from the rest of the enemy team. I mean, it's looking pretty good for Team Nexus right now. I'd like to see them try to focus a bit more on the Amber Links, try now deny resources from Carbon. This is the point of the game where if you can't take towers easily, start denying them resources elsewhere on the map. Take the bits of their jungle, take the Amber Link, take the river buffs, try get this Raptors down as well would be a great boost in terms of power for them.
Yeah, and we're seeing people farm right now. As far as card points are concerned, everyone still is relatively close, with Team Nexus having a wee bit of a lead. Nothing too crazy right now. It is 5-1-9 compared to 1-5-1, so that is definitely something to note. But Carbon EU is keeping up and is actually ahead in total farm for their team. So that's what's keeping them alive right now. Definitely going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. And we're now hitting that midpoint of the game where things can go really either way depending how the fights play out.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty tricky game for Undead Pilot all around. I would like to maybe see a different strategy to try and getting him farm. Him sitting in this lane has not actually been working out for him. He's sitting at only 44 creeps compared to Klinghoffer's 59. So he's not doing too great.
And there goes Nerf Mundo throwing out a stun onto Shadon. Gets hit by a sticky bomb. He has to ult just to get out. Throws the rock. Lands it right between the team. 2-hit Twin Blast. It's a rain now on Greystone going low. Hopefully he's able to burn down that ultimate that he can get out. Yo and Mikey follows up to throw out a make it rain. It's a rain now stuck under the tower. Gets rocked in the back of the head. He's going to go down to the tower and Undead Pilot. Team now backing off as they weren't able to pressure out the tier 2 that they were looking to do.
Meanwhile, Blood and Frustrous take out a tier 1 and it looks like the other tier 1 tower as well in the meantime.
Yo and Mikey getting caught up now. He has no ultimate to escape. He's going to get shot right in the face by Klinghoffer. Howitzer no longer on the map. Undead Pilot and Shadon trying to get out. Shadon jumping out. There's the Decker Gauge that was held just a minute ago. And the Tesla Dome is going to land it and pick up a kill. Klinghoffer going down if at all possible. No, he managed to live, and Undead Pilot is the one who's going to go in. Blood Morty is now rotating with the red buff to do what he can. He has a little bit of mana. He's just going to use it to clear the wave instead. Meanwhile, over in the far right lane, Rushers has had the opportunity to completely push not only 1, but 2 towers and get the tier 2. Jump pads now dropped off the map in favor of Carbon. So this could be the advantage that they were looking for.
I believe this is exactly what they're looking for. They're going to get... They got that tier 2, which means no jump pads as well. They've got the card point lead. You can see Kling sitting on 21, Hudzy, Nerf Mundo sitting at 17 points. I mean, Blood doing incredibly well on this crunch, sitting at 19 points, still behind the enemy team, but he is keeping up in general. Haven't seen any sort of really strong plays from him in terms of ganks, apart from that one in the mid lane. So it's going to be a bit tricky, I suspect, because Crunch, you can't really do much against Decker. You charge and you'll just get stunned.
And over in the mid lane, Yo and Mikey getting caught out as Nerf Mundo's following up, goes for the stun and the slow, but he manages to landmine himself to safety before Klinghoffer's to get any significant damage off. Over in the left lane, the tower is being pressured. And we may see Klinghoffer go over there. Instead, he's going to look to poke out a little bit of the jungle. Walking, no. Blue buff's up. They're going to secure that. River buff's up. Blood Mortis gets the purple buff, and Decker picks up the blue buff. They're now rotating towards the mid lane. Hudzy has no idea there is a robot right behind him. He's going to start backing off. Blood Mortis might need to use this opportunity. No, he's now caught out behind the enemy lines, saving Private Mortius. Decker goes to throw out a stun onto Yo and Mikey. Sergeant Floppy's right beside him. No ultimate to escape. He's going to get smashed and grabbed and double pain before anything could even click into his head that there was going on. They're going to now jump onto the tier 1. They're going to get it without any contest or issue. Straight onto that one. Cameron was in the left lane. Oh, Undead Pilot was in the left lane the entire time. So he didn't even need... Well, he wasn't there to help his team out. More or less.
He's trying to claw his way back in terms of card points right now. 60 farm, 19 points. Still too far behind, I suspect, for him to be able to have a major impact in these fights. And jungle fight.
They're going back in. Blood Mortis goes to walk by after they cleared out that Amber Link to deny those resources. Blood Mortis snuck his head around the corner, and they instantly turned around to try and maybe pick up another hit. Blue team now might be losing their tower in the left lane. Meanwhile, another fight breaking out. We see a full sphere Tesla Dome going down as Russ just gets picked off inside the Tesla Dome and the Decker cage. Klinghoffer doing the damage that he needs. He's going to pick up a kill on top of Blood Mortius. Klinghoffer is super huge right now, sitting at 4-0-7. That's monstrous.
He's been doing incredibly well this whole tournament, and he's carried on doing it again here. I mean, that fight was a little bit disjointed from Carbon. They weren't fully engaged, so they weren't five. They weren't fully grouped up before they started that fight, and all Nex had to do was walk backwards, kite, and fight while kiting backwards because there wasn't a full 5-man team, and they got punished for engaging without full coordination right there.
Yeah, we are seeing the score now 11-3 in favor of Team Nexus. They're showing, yeah, they're here. They showed up. No one really expected them to win early on in the group stages, but they're currently like really showing that they're a very, very strong team. So we might hopefully be able to see more of this, not only in the rest of our tournament here in the finals, but in future tournaments as well. They can show that they're strong.
I think both teams have been really strong. I mean, if we take into account that Carbon just took out Oxygen, all these teams, I think, are at incredibly high levels of play. All four of the semi-finalists have done incredibly well today in terms of their play. I feel like a lot of these games have been decided by one or two choices. So a person makes a decision at this point in time, and they're able to just capitalize it a lot more.
Yeah, Shadon almost getting himself caught out by a Decker stun, but will be able to walk out. He's going to join his duo laner in the left lane as it stands right now. And we have Sergeant Floppy engaging onto his green buff, and he will be able to pick that one up. Meanwhile, there seems to be another bit of a fight over in the green jungle for the orange team.
It looks like they're setting up for this Orb Prime. Will they be doing it at 18 minutes?
They're doing it. They're going for it. Here it goes. Klinghoffer has just enough. Sergeant Floppy's using the green buff to shield the damage. Team is looking to engage now. It's a Ray zoning out the rest of Carbon while they try and apply any pressure to Orb Prime. They're going to just jump right off of that. They're looking to bait Prime more than engage it by the looks of it. Both teams still kind of hovering around it. It's a Ray's going to pick up the blue buff, and they're going to run over to that far lane. There's a big fat minion wave over there right now. Blood Murray is sitting really low. There's the Decker cage. Howitzer is going to follow up with a Make It Rain as Tesla Dome goes down inside the cage. Yo and Mike could be in a bit of trouble as Klinghoffer brings out the miniguns to pick it up from long range. This could be another tier 2 going down once again. Shadon ulting and jumping right in. Goes to throw the rock, misses it, hits the tower instead. He's now hit by a sticky mine, doing what he can. It's a Ray losing his ultimate as the team backs off and tries to recompose themselves. They should be able to push this and maybe get themselves a tier 2 tower. If they don't, the minion wave on the left lane is set and pushing, so if they keep pressure up, it's still good fortune for them. Instead, they're going to look to back off, maybe clear up the enemy jungle, deny some resources. The green buff is up, which definitely gives Sergeant Floppy a bit of an advantage. That green buff is very important, giving you a 400 damage, 400 hit point shield.
Yeah, they're going to just take bits of the jungle on their way out. It's going to allow them, as you said, deny resources. They've got waves already being pushed up towards them in that all prime side, and they need to go deal with their own waves as well. So it's going to be a bit tricky. I mean, if we look at builds again, Nerfmundo first one to grab the Honor of the Pure. I'm expecting It's a Ray to grab an Honor of the Pure at some point as well. Maybe a bit later into the game, but we're not seeing as many this game. Neither team have got 2 or 3 Honor of the Pures. We've only got the 1 on each team right now.
Honor of the Pure being that strong of a card with that shield buff, giving you, that's what, it's another 400 hit point shield, roughly.
Yeah, it's quite a substantial amount, and if we can, it's only 1 on each. I suspect it's just due to build pathing. I suspect we're going to probably see a few coming out later. I suspect the Barrier of Will, Mikey, because he's been doing it every game, and they're actually doing this all prime yet again.
Oh, they're going back on top of it. Rustress is there. He has the Kwong sword, and he might be able to steal it. He's going to get stunned out before he's able to do anything. He's now caught 1v5 with an entire team primed up, ready to take him down. They're running right after him. So Nexus now has prime on all 5 members of the team. Rustress in a bit of trouble as It's a Ray is just chasing him down. He goes to throw the tether, manages to land it, and then Nerfmundo follows up with the with the Decker Bomb, but will not be able to land the stun as Rustress literally just managed to scoop out of the way at the last possible second. And then we had Klinghoffer following up with the Twin Blast ult, but not really doing anything. This should be an easy tower for them as It's a Ray jumps straight in. Nerfmundo goes to throw the Decker Ball and managed to thread the needle right between the 2 frontliners and hitting Ed Dead Pilot. No one's going to follow up on that one just yet, but we still have a lot of pressure being dealt out here. Shadon preparing a rock as he can right now to try and help out his team. Everyone's kind of dancing around. This could be inhib. Right now, there's the Decker Cage. Yo, and Mikey goes to ultimate, actually bounces right into the Decker Cage instead. So that's going to be down. Sergeant Floppy engaging on Blood and Morning as the Honor of the Pure goes out. Sergeant Floppy low right now. There's the Kwong ultimate to follow up as well. It's a Ray is looking at low health, so no one is going to go down, but they do not successfully get the turret off. Nerfmundo throws out a stun ball. It hits Rustress, but will not stun. Bit of a bug going on there. There is a tether going on to It's a Ray. Who are they going to engage on? They decide to engage on Hudsy first. It's a Ray second. It's a Ray being stunned out by the rock. He's going to blink the other way. Try and get out. He has no health. Will he be able to get away is the real question. If Kwong is able to land another tether, which he's landed the past 2 in a row, it could mean, and he does, and that is it. There is the shock therapy going straight into the Greystone.
Meanwhile, the minion waves have been perfectly set up here for Carbon EU. Their mid and left have been pushing against these towers, so they're probably going to grab this tier 2, Constellation tier 2 here. I mean, from that fight, I don't know if they're going to be able to get the inhib. They still have Orb on Klinghoffer, so it might be a little bit tricky.
And they are looking to grab that inhibitor. They are actually just engaging on it, even though they have just won a fight. Blood and Morty is now looking really hurt. There goes the miniguns being busted out, but Honor the Pure saves the day, bringing Blood Mortius to safety. They're just kind of running away as to the best of their ability. Both side waves are pushing in favor of Nexus, and that inhibitor has taken a little bit of damage. So if they don't get there in time, if they get chased out instead, it could mean bad news for that inhib. Meanwhile, we have Klinghoffer jumping right on top of that Raptor. Gonna give him an extra little bit of card point lead. He's at 33 right now, while Undead Pilot's at 32, so they are managed to farm up and stay even in the meantime.
Undead has managed to grab farm where he can, along with those couple of kills. Have actually caught him up fairly substantially. He's now only a few points behind, as opposed to like the 6 or 7 points he was earlier. It's actually going to make a huge difference in the next couple of fights. None of these teams are grabbing Blink that early. The only person, none of them are. No Blinks 30 card points in, which is quite substantial. I think they rely on Honor of the Pure a lot more than Blink Charms at the moment, and they'll be grabbing the Blink a lot later. As I just said that, playing proceeds to go ahead by a Blink Charm.
You can't stay ahead of all of them. Look at those fancy little Christmas lights here, guys. It is holiday season in Monolith. Hopefully in the near future for next year, because they did introduce into the Unreal Engine the ability to actually put seasons in. So we have a couple little festive arrangements going on right now, but in the near future, maybe we can get snow next year. That'll be cool.
There is bits of snow on the actual platform by your base, but I don't know if it's in the replay.
It is. There is a snowman. Oh, it's Array getting hit by the Rampage Rock. They are jumping in right into the dog pile. Decker Cage goes down. There's the Tesla Dome to follow up on that one. And we have Klinghoffer going in with a minigun, just shredding through the enemy team. That's going to be 3 people down for Carbon. Every time they get an advantage, Nexus comes in and just says, hey, we're still here.
While they did get 3 kills, they can now are forced to take out this jungle. They don't have any waves set up to actually force any towers at this point in time. So they're probably going to try run mid, try get another tier 2. Look at their waves. Not a single one of them had been set up before that fight. So that 3 kills looks like it's most of the objective that they're going to be able to get at this point. Maybe another tier 2 in mid.
It seems like they're going to go for a tier 2 as it's Array's positioning himself to tank that tower. He's getting tethered out by the Kwong on Rustris. And now Issa Rae's jumping straight in, storming those gates. He's now tanking the tower. Yo and Mikey gets stunned out and sticky bombed by the gadget. There's the ultimate going out as the minion wave walks in. There goes the tier 2 in their favor. That is another little bit of an advantage for Team Nexus. In the left lane right now, there's a big fat minion wave that could very well do some mean damage to that tower, but Klinghoffer hopefully gets there just in time before anything too damaging happens.
Yeah, they're funneling it all into Kling again. He's been doing incredibly well this game. As we saw in the first game today, he's really strong on that Twin Blast and showing how good he can play. And there are all the honor of the Pures. All 3
on the one
just showed
team.
up at that 30 card points. We're going to be seeing a lot of shields coming out now for Nexus.
Build diversity, boys. Look at that. 3 out of the Pures, 16 adamant edges. Not a big deal. 2-2-2. So we have both teams coming down the mid lane right now. They're looking to secure those river buffs while they can. The inhibitor is actually taking a little bit of damage in the meantime. We need the team to go back and defend. Carbon looks like they might not be able to do a whole lot with that. You know, how he comes in, Mikey's able to clear it out. But that will slow down the regen of that tower in the meantime.
It almost likely regen up unless Nexus really want to push this far side inhib. The issue is there's no real other strong objectives apart from Raptor up currently to force a fight. So Carbon EU doesn't necessarily have to force anything right now. They can just kind of wait.
But Russ just goes into the mid lane, walks into the entire enemy team. There goes everyone burning out the Tesla Dome for it. Sergeant Floppy dashes in and gets a smash and grab and followed by a clap and a double pane. That's going to be Rustris off the map. So even though
as I said that,
everything bad happens. Oh my god, now Blood Maurice is getting caught out. It's already gets stunned under the tower, but it won't matter because Blood Maurice gets pulled into the Grux and the enemy team. He's going to get chewed apart by the Twin Blast once again, now sitting at 8-0-8. Klinghoffer has not died at all. He's sitting real pretty.
I don't know, like he shouldn't be allowed to live that much. He should be the #1 target in a lot of these fights, but he's sitting so far back in nearly every single fight, it's really hard for them to deal with him. And Shaden...
Yeah, it's Array's going to lose his ultimate. Greystone's getting slowed out. Klinghoffer's still there. They cannot really do anything with Klinghoff being so healthy. And that's going to be a tower going down with the split push minions doing the job. Winions are the way to go. Black buff is up, and we're going to see that one go straight on to It's Array. He's going to pick that one up. A little bit of a glitch right now as It's Array is currently made out of full stone. Nice and fancy. They need to make that a little bit of skin.
And they're going straight for this again. All Primus spawned. Carbon have no way of getting there in time, I suspect. I suspect this orb is going to be gone before they can group up for it.
Rustrous is up. He is running over there, but it won't be nearly in time. Klinghoffer's now so fed, he can shred straight through our big old friend, the Prime Guardian. And that's going to be a nice big advantage.
Also known as OP buff originally.
I remember, I wish it was still that. Just like, OP buff. Well, I guess it's a literal statement. It is overpowered. So it works.
Also known as the Orb Prime Harambe.
Harambe Prime is my favorite way of putting it. Score right now is 18-5. Card points are like, even though there's a 13 kill and 39 assist difference, both teams are able to still farm, and that definitely says a lot. With Undead Pilot only 6 card points behind the Klinghoffer, who's 8-0-8, so they're farming very effectively.
You can see how rough this has been on Shaden all game. He's sitting at 28 points as a support in comparison to Nerf. He's sitting at 35. He's also Rampage, so those points will actually matter quite a bit in terms of his damage output and his survivability. And he hasn't been able to survive long enough in a lot of these fights due to that. And Mikey, not got the Barrier of Will just yet. Might be grabbing it a bit later. I think he's elected to get quite a bit more damage right now for these fights.
Yeah, the problem with Shadon is he's like, his ult won't... Klinghoffer's doing enough damage where Shadon's ult won't heal it. It'll barely sustain the damage. So that is definitely like not a pretty point for Rampage. We now have the waves set properly in favor of Nexus. Yo and Mikey just fixed one on the left side. He's looking to join the fight as It's a Raid storms the gates once again. There's the Decker ult, followed by the Gadget Tesla Dome. It's not even going to be enough. That thing's going straight down. Yo and Mikey tried to make it rain, but nothing's going to dissuade the team from taking that inhib and maybe even the game as the team looks to keep on engaging. Undead Pod's going to pick up a kill on It's a Raid because the rest of the team decided to back off, leaving the front line up there by themselves, 2v5. Nerf Mundo now being picked off by Blood and Morty as he's running around in circles to try and keep the team from engaging on the rest of those who matter. And that is going to be another pickup in favor of, I believe that was Nerf Mundo who picked that up, right? No, that was Undead Poly who picked that up, right?
Hudsy, minions, gotta stop him recalling.
Oh god! They're now jumping on a Hudsy. There's the landmine coming out from Yo and Mikey using the last bit of mana. He's not gonna live for very long. He's getting knocked out of there.
A little bit of a lazy recall from there from Hudsy that wasn't necessarily needed. It means Carbon now can potentially push for this tier 2 on this far side.
So yeah,
I don't know. It's a bit of a back and forth. I mean, mistakes being made from both sides in terms of the way they recall and when they should engage. And I suspect now Carbon, if they can get this tier 2 tower, have to retreat instantly because they're going to struggle.
Shadon jumping in right now with the ultimate for reasons, but he does manage to help secure the tower. Either way, the intimidation factor is what matters on that Obsidian Rampage. They're going to pick that one up and then get right out of there. Blood Mortius walking into an awkward spot almost right in the enemy team. If you look over in the right lane...
Being invisible.
Oh yeah,
he can just walk away fairly easily right now.
Okay, I see how it is.
He'll be okay. And Undead just recalling, they're going to be...
Right lane inhibitor taking a lot of damage from the Winyan wave right over there. It's approaching half health. Will they be able to clear it in time is the question. Yes, they do. The rocket flies right in, but still, that hurts. That does hurt. Meanwhile, Team Nexus has the gold buff, and they're going right on top of those Raptors. Klinghoffer now getting another 1,200 points for a Raptor. Nice and juicy. Hudsy's now going
again over. They're gonna probably try and wait out for the next All Prime or look for a fight. Potentially there is even the option for a backdoor. As we can see, Carbon EU have set up these defensive wards in their own jungle in case of an invade. They've got one at each of those entrances towards their core right there to protect them from any sneaky backdoors that Klinghoffer might try to do on that Twin Blast along with Shaden.
Alrighty, going on over there. we now see the minion wave being pushed up towards the mid lane. River buffs are going to be spawning in just 10 seconds. We'll see what they go up and if they can offer any real advantage to either team. Nerfmundo's just losing his purple buff right now, and he's going to go over to the left side. Meanwhile, Klinghofer and Gadget are going to the right. So there's going to be 2 blue buffs, providing a lot of kite potential for the Twin Blast. He's going to be real fast. Shoots fast, moves fast, super fast. Twin Blast.
Yeah, they're going to really want to try and force a fight in the next sort of minute while they still have these blue buffs on Klinghofer. He's sitting at 53 card points with a Blink Charm right now. His team loving the adamant edges across the board.
Adamant edges. Look, that one build is just literally 4 adamant edges.
Yep. It's a strong card. You can't deny how strong it gives you power and health, both 2 stats which are incredibly useful. Granted, the health has been nerfed.
Oh, look at Team Nexus right now. They're all hiding around the corner as the team walks in. Explosive landmine to try and save the day. Hudsy's now caught out, drops a Tesla Dome, and Yo and Mike's going to pick up the kill. Decker follows up with their own ult shortly after that. It's a Ray goes down. This did not work out completely in their favor. Klinghofer picks up his own kill onto the team. They use an Honor of the Pier and a couple Blink Charms to try and get out. That was real sneaky, but did not work in their favor.
Currently a 1-for-1, and Floppy is rotating. I suspect they're just trying to try to get this counter engage going. The minion waves will be pushing down mid lane as well, because of that inhibitor being down.
All right.
And it just looks like they're just going to back out, recuperate, and try get another fight. But Orb is spawning in the next couple of minutes, and it looks like Carbon are setting up their vision so that they don't get that orb stolen from them again. Just a little sneaky orb.
If they're able to secure the black buff, that will actually also be very helpful in their favor. And Undead Pause now going to join Yo and Mikey in the mid lane with Rustress to try and push that out. The left lane has a very big minion wave starting to set up in favor of Team Nexus. Both river buffs are now spawned, and we have 2 black buffs. That could be very helpful for either team if they secure them in the next team fight, giving Carbon the advantage to catch up in that extra damage they've been missing, while it could give the Team Nexus the opportunity to take black buff or just secure that extra team fight they need right there. So Klinghofer's going to pick up the first black buff, and he's going to walk over there. Undead Pilot not optioning to take the other one. Instead, he's going to back.
They're going to be they're going to want to really set up this ult right now, to be honest, because they have that advantage of that mid lane. That it doesn't even matter if it's pushed up near their inhib. The super minion will be pushing it back against them.
Yeah.
Just in due time. They just clear this one wave, and it will still start pushing.
They had a chance to contest, I think, getting that black buff. Chose not to instead. It's going to go to It's a Ray. The left minion wave is gargantuan. It's going to get only bigger, and they're going to have to try and contest Prime now with that wave pushing.
On top of that, I mean, Carbon EU have managed to get a couple of these shields now up and running on Blood, Rustress, and Mikey. Mikey's managed to get that Barrier of Will at this point in the game. And the Blink Charms, again, not that many across the teams. A lot of teams electing not to use Blink Charm. Just on the carries and occasionally a few fighters.
It's a Ray jumping in on Undead Pilot, and he's going to get a nice secure onto the Murdoch carry. They're now going to ignore the Prime, jump down mid lane instead. Decker goes to throw out a stun ball, not going to be the case. They're going to shove down mid as fast as possible while that minion wave starts to push up. In the right lane, we have also a little bit of a minion wave building up in favor of Carbon, so they might be able to at least get an inhib out of this if things go at all in their favor.
I really love what they're doing right now. They're just standing here in front of their core. If you go to deal with that wave, we're going to run at your core.
Yeah, and that could be it. That core, that inhibitor's taking a lot of damage. There goes the team fight breaking out now. We have Rustress getting knocked down by Sergeant Floppy inside the Decker cage. Klinghofer's in a little bit of trouble. Blood Mortis tries to dash in for the kill, not me enough. Shadon throws a rock from across the map, will not manage to land. He's at no health. Decker tries to follow up in the same, will not be able to do secure the kill. Klinghofer goes down, but Sergeant Floppy picks up the kill on Yo and Mikey, and that is going to be it for this game. First game's going in favor of Team Nexus. Klinghoffer almost had a perfect game. He died literally as the core was going down, but Sergeant Floppy also has a perfect game. 6-0-9.
I'm still counting those as perfect games. Incredibly well played by Team Nexus taking that first game. And are we going to see Carbon switching this up a little bit? It felt like the crunch pick, as I mentioned, is a bit tricky to do, and it didn't pan out. So it's I don't know. I felt like crunch had its moments, but wasn't able to do much more from that.
Yeah.
And you can just see him fall behind quite easily.
So through that game, I just think, yeah, Crunch, we saw nothing from Crunch that game. And it wasn't really blood.
He had a few good ganks in the mid stages of the game where he managed to kill Gadget. But apart from that, this is the issue he has. He's too easily kiteable, and he can't output a lot of the damage that he does have.
Yeah, I think that was less of an issue. Less of an issue with Blood Mortius. More, I think it was the champion, in my opinion. Because Blood Mortius has been showing really strong for the past couple of games. Bringing the Crunch out, who doesn't have that immediate CC of the champions Blood Mortius has been playing. Probably definitely has an effect on that one.
Also, we've been given a bit of information on our third place